Not to be live.
Oh,
It is 6:30, yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, excellent. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's a regular meeting of the Communications Committee. It is 8/27/2026. Time is 6:30 p.m. and this is the call to order. And we do have enough people this week, so first item up, approval of minutes.
I sent out minutes from the last meeting on August 13th. I got a few approvals, no corrections.
I will wait up in minutes for 8:15.
One second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Perfect. Public comments. There is no public today. Once, twice, three times, public comment is over. Topics not reasonably anticipated by the chair. I have a minor one. It is,
You're the chair.
well, it came in this morning. We have a new head of the creative economy, Eric Weiss.
Is he head of creative economy or is he economic development?
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's an employee, you know.
Yeah.
Very nice, yeah.
Introduction. So yes, he is, let me get this correct, is a founding and previous member of the Capital Improvement Committee and new Economic and Community Development Planner. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Part-time position.
Excellent choice.
Just got this morning, but he has been aware of our committee, likes what we do, and may or may not be attending a few meetings to ask for some assistance on things, those being a potential town motto and town elevator pitch.
What was the last one?
Elevator pitch, you know, you got 1 minute or 30 seconds in an elevator to get your idea.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So just letting everybody aware that that's something that might be coming down to us.
This came out of the meeting the other night, the quad meeting they had with select board,
BDIC,
forward, finance,
creative economy, and
Somebody was hanging out there too.
planning, yeah. It was an excellent meeting and stuff like that came up. That's where Eric kind of came out and introduced himself to it. And it was an excellent meeting. I thought it was really good. I was surprised it wasn't publicly attended.
So to that, did they ever improve the audio in the room?
So,
Okay.
some of the mics were good, some of the mics weren't.
and it was,
Well, the problem was
a big part of it was about there. People had to lean in and speak.
Yeah, all right.
So,
All right, never mind.
but it was a very good meeting, and I think Eric is a great choice for that position. He's very dialed into that. That's what he used to do professionally. So he was a good choice, and he's very active here in town, and he is Jonah's dad. So.
Does bring up a point that we need to be careful about any conflicts.
I don't see whether it would be it.
We just need to be aware.
Per seat
Right.
versus actual.
Yeah. Yep. Just throwing it out there that there's a potential for conflicts, and we need to be aware of that. But anyway, I think that's good. Let's move on. Education training reports from committee members. Anything out there? No. Okay, move right along. Letters of interest. We received 2 of them. One from Andrew, previous member or current non-voting member. Thank you. And a new potential, Drusilla DeVere, who last minute could not attend tonight and won't be able to make it for the next meeting. Found this out like 2 hours ago. So we will move ahead with Andrew and discuss his letter of interest, and we'll save hers until later. I mean, unless people want
Are we
it.
trying to fill a full committee position?
We have Mark's empty seat.
So we are trying. So according to at least the internet, we could fill his position Mark's position with Andrew right now without having to advertise it. I don't know what the towns.
We did advertise it for 2 weeks.
Oh,
And I will say this on record, that we verified with the town manager's office as soon as Mark put in his resignation, which he put it in before the meeting, stating that he would be resigning
and so, yeah.
as of that meeting. They immediately started advertising it. They told me 2 weeks has to go by, and I told them when our next meeting was, and they said by that point the 2 weeks will be done. Don't worry about it.
So we're at the 2 weeks.
So we're at the 2 week period.
Thank you.
Yes, I was very careful to make sure those dates and ask the right questions, and so yes, surprised we got an extra one in there, but that's excellent. I'm not against it. So yeah, at this point,
I would be very comfortable nominating Andrew as a full member and asking Drusilla to be an associate member.
yeah, I think that's fair. Andrew's been around, and it's a new member we haven't seen, so that's what I think we should do.
Sorry.
Second or third or whatever.
Sure, you can-
Well, we need an official motion if everybody agrees. Yeah.
So moved.
All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
Yeah, great. Officially, sorry. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, excellent.
Now,
Well-
wait a minute, does Andrew know the new guy now becomes the clerk and that's taking up?
I was just gonna say, we should actually ask Andrew if he wants to be a full member.
You're still on board, right?
Yeah.
You sent a letter of interest, so.
Oh, you did, okay, good.
Yeah, but that was part of the conversation, is that like he technically even has to, as
Oh, really?
for advertising, he has to throw in a letter of interest as well. To which I like immediately got back to him, was like, send it now, let's go. Okay, excellent. Welcome as a voting member. I think technically you now have to go back to the clerk's office, get sworn in again as a voting member
Okay.
before you can actually vote. But you know,
Did you do the ethics
all of
training?
the rules apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
Fine. So, okay, and we'll wait on Drusilla till later. I apologize if I'm butchering your name, by the way. So that means we can move on to item number 7. Cruise right along. Nicole Miner will not be here. She let me know a day or two ago that she is going to be in Boston. So we'll go right past. What's that?
It was lovely of her to let you know.
Well, you know, this is one of those things where like we're just going to keep it on the agenda.
Right.
And if they show up, then they can give us an update. And if they don't show up, then we just move right past it.
I know.
Actually, that came up
After
at the
spending
meeting,
5
that came up at the meeting the other night about select board members' involvement in committees. And I didn't say anything, but they were saying, yeah, they should be, the select board members should be feeding information both ways. You know, to the committee. So we're kind of ahead of the power curve in terms of that sort of thing.
Usually are.
She's there.
Hey, Esther's here. So yeah, we're done with 7. Move on to 8, BCTV manager updates. We're cruising along. Hey, Esther, how's it going?
Hello. Good. I don't know why my camera is so dark because this room is not that dark.
Not well. It's a little muddy.
Can you also raise it?
Yeah. We'll load him up.
Can you hear me?
You're breaking up on Esther.
I'm waking up.
You're
I don't
on.
think that's doing it. That's for the TV.
Hello.
Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Your audio's all the way up. So
You can
I
hear
can
me.
hear you.
Okay.
we can
Audio
hear you.
is down on the owl too with the plus sign.
Yeah, the owl is all the way up.
Okay, cool. Is it my network connection? It seems like maybe.
No, I think you're like coming in. It's just a little quiet.
Talk a little slower than normal, Esther, because I think it's a little choppy and slowing down my home. Thanks.
Okay. Sounds good. So we have been very, very busy lately. We've had meetings are starting to kick back up. We helped with the sound and hybrid capacity of the squad board meeting on Monday. That was a big deal. Our intern who's been with us for now 2 sessions all summer, her internship ended today.
Internship.
Wants to volunteer with us, so we hope she'll stick around.
Esther, I think we're having trouble. It's like you're going a little quiet and there's background noise at the same time.
Are you manipulating something on your desk?
Oh, maybe.
That's much better when you lean forward.
Really? Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that. Okay, yeah, our intern said goodbye to our intern today. Hopefully not real goodbye. On last week, I also went to Terry and they were testing the voter machines. So we went and saw how that worked. That was very fun. That video's not out yet. It will be soon. Drew and I were all at Food Truck Friday. That was fun. Then gearing up for sports and the sports season, which is about to start happening. It's going to be nuts.
Yep.
We put out clips of Donnie, who's been doing a coaches sports podcast. So our first one we had Coach LeBeau in to come and talk about coaching football, and this week we had Kyle from the rec department. And we've also been working with him on the whole world of auto sports tracking because they're quite good now. And Kyle has been using the VeoCam system for the past year. He bought the camera himself, thought it was pretty good. So we bought in with that, and we now are like, we're getting to know all the coaches, and hopefully they'll come to work with us. We have a bunch of seats on a club membership. So hopefully we'll be covering a lot more. And
How many coaches are there in town? Do you know?
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I can tell you the sports we're looking to cover this season. I can't tell you how many coaches are on each team, but
Gotcha.
I'm thinking of girls field hockey, football, boys and girls soccer, and maybe volleyball, basically, and Philadelphia.
What was those sports you just listed? What were they a list for?
Those are the
Those
ones.
are the sports to cover for this season. We're looking to have them live. And yeah, I think I just applied for the Alliance for Community Media's Emerging Leadership Institute. Not that, it's virtual.
Sorry, can you lean forward again?
Lean forward.
Yes, sorry.
I applied for Alliance for Community Media's Emerging Leaders Institute program. I've heard good things about it. I have a friend in Granby who's taken it. Hopefully I will do the right things.
Very cool.
That's it.
Is there anything you need assistance from us with in the upcoming months?
I don't think so, but we're working together a little bit on fireworks PA.
Yeah.
I got a couple of questions for you, Esther. Last Thursday we had the drought presentation, and then they had the quad meeting where the audio in the auditorium was problematic. And I know you put in for money to try to improve the audio in there. I'm wondering what's happening on that?
You're talking about the audio for the water meeting?
Yeah, that's
Inside the auditorium.
it was underpowered. I mean, we made it through, but it was definitely underpowered.
The water
And I
meeting.
don't know.
For the water meeting, right?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, I mean, is that a solution of just putting another speaker in there, a bigger speaker? Can we use the overheads for meetings in there and all that sort of stuff? Is there a solution to improve audio for the audience in there?
Well, there is an overhead speaker that works pretty well in there now. It's
What?
up in the, there's a speaker attached to the cloud.
The cloud. Oh, the thing.
You
Yeah.
need the suspended ceiling.
Yeah, that's a cloud.
The suspended ceiling.
Yeah, there's a speaker up there that
It's a great speaker, but it is pointed at the ground. So it
is
causes
pointing at the, it was pointed at the audience. seated there in the auditorium.
We have to
More
get
so,
a giant ladder to adjust it or something. But yes, the money from capital projects did come through. Kevin and I are starting to, we're starting to work on that soon. Number one is outlets in that one. But we also have a louder PA that we absolutely could use.
I would suggest it, because that meeting, I mean, we made it through, but it was not the best. And it would have been better if we could have had louder audio for the audience in there, you know. I mean, the good thing is it kept everybody quiet, so they could listen, you know.
Somebody mentioned it got better when you turned the volume up.
It was right on the edge. It was right on the edge, you know.
isn't it a 30-watt system with like a 10-inch driver? I mean, it's a small system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a big
And as you know, for the quad meeting, it was really problematic hearing it. I mean, I'm not so sure if it was as difficult for the boards, but definitely in the audience, it was very difficult to hear what was going on.
Yeah, they ahead of that meeting, they told me that they didn't want to do a setup with PA speakers for audience at all. They say that. They also say for these large meetings that they don't think they're going to need any speakers at all to hear each other. They usually end up
Okay.
We did have speakers.
I would disagree with that. You know,
I disagree too.
if it's a public meeting, it should be set up so the public can hear.
I don't.
It's my feeling on that.
Well, that whole room was set up wrong. It was set up not facing any potential audiences. They had their backs to you.
But even so, it should be set up so that we can hear what's going, in my opinion, what's going on. And the other thing that bothered me about that too was, you know, nobody told you about it till I told you last Thursday, and Kevin didn't find out until Monday morning about that meeting that night. And I don't know if it was within our purview to address processes like that to make sure that, I mean, every time something happens there, it seems like a crash and burn, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
That was the kind of meeting that should have had a meeting of a planning meeting to set up the room. Between, I guess, the select board, the town manager, and Esther.
Yeah.
And obviously it didn't happen. So how do you facilitate that? How do you get that to be part of the rule?
I mean, at the minimum, it seems like when Abby and Melissa are scheduling, we state a checklist, you know. Has IT been notified? Has Esther been notified, you know?
Yeah, my understanding was that quad board was Melissa didn't want to tell me who actually did the scheduling. She didn't want to throw blame around, but it was someone who doesn't normally schedule those meetings. But that said, the procedure is not. We need something better.
Again, I'll throw it to you kind of, Chris. Is this in our purview? Is this something that Esther and Kevin should be pursuing?
Also, can I speak again?
Yeah.
The setup of that meeting, if ability to talk to anyone about response to that, what people really need to hear is that they want the boards to face the audience and they want more audience focus. Because that's really where the disconnect ends up being. They really think that they're going to be something like a conference table and able to just talk in a normal room. That mindset kind of needs to change.
Well, I know that Peg sent a text to our town manager immediately. She walked out of the room because of the lack of audio in the room. So we're making noises about this to the appropriate people, I think.
I mean, I can see why they were set up the way they were, because it was a PowerPoint presentation, so they were facing the screen. You know, they were on a U-shaped table facing, so I can understand that part of it, but also it does seem like, yeah, they're not engaging with the public by doing that. You know?
You could move the TV screen around for them to see the PowerPoint, and you could have seen the PowerPoint too.
Yeah, but that's a pretty small screen for a meeting that big. I mean, it was appropriate having it up on the big screen. That was perfect. And even with their backs to us, if we had had better audio, it would have worked, you know. Is it the most engaging way? No, it's not. But also it's not bad.
I'm going to say psychologically, they're saying they don't want you in the room.
Yeah, no, that was.
Yeah. You know, that's the feeling you get.
Yeah.
So to the point of what we can do about it, it's a little tough. Managing their process and making sure that everybody is aware of these things, that is a broader process issue that I think we can make light of to them and be like, hey, what was going on here? But I don't know if that's necessarily on us to.
We're not the people that should be telling people about this, that there's a meeting coming up, no. But Esther, is this something you want to sit down with Steve and try to hash out so it doesn't happen again?
Right, that would be my suggestion.
I would think you would want a 3 or 4 day notice, though. You've got to gather equipment, get people lined up, and figure out how much time it's going to take you to put it all together and what the setup is. And there should be a meeting on that before it ever happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna depend on the meeting too, a big meeting like that, yeah. And, as soon as it gets scheduled, like I said, it should be a checklist thing, okay, these are the parties we notified that this meeting's out. And if it's not relevant to you, okay, fine. You got a notice that you don't have to pay attention to.
I love the checklist idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And as for and listen, like if people disagree with me, if we want to vote on pushing this things further, then that's fine. We definitely don't have to do what I'm saying because I'm the chair, right? You just looking at me and asking the questions directly. To the point of the room setup, I do think that we can advise that there need to be plans in place, that some research needs to be done, or some just level of thought needs to be put into okay, how do we handle, two committees at the same time? How do we handle 3 committees? How do we handle 4 committees? Okay, let's put a presentation into the mix. How do we handle that? What's the layout going to be? What equipment do we need every single time?
I hate to say this, but I've done that for 30 plus years. It's like water off my back to do those kind of planning. And of course, no one's going to invite me in, but it's what I did for a job for 30 plus years.
Well, is it so? And this is what I would say is that Lou is really the only one in this room that has expertise, as far as I know, in that matter and can advise on it. But also Esther's in this room digitally, but Esther's in this room and she's in charge of this stuff. And I think that that's well within her purview as well. So personally, I think we could advise towards this. I think if Esther doesn't have somebody on her immediate team that can do it, or Lou, you're still working with them. If there's something you could write up that says this is a layout and actually put graphics of you can put a table here and a table there and set it up, then I would say that would be incredibly helpful to have a playbook.
I don't even think who's supposed to set up the room, or at least with a quad board, BPW, nobody was, at the end of the day, it was just Steve and Melissa and me.
Right.
For between 5 and 7 when the meeting.
With a playbook with a specific layout for a specific type of meeting, could you hand a layout to the DPW and say, here, set it up?
Configurations in a book, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And that's what I would advise.
But I think also not making a big deal out of it, but maybe just talking to Melissa and Abby and coming up with a checklist. Just saying, when meetings like this come in through the door, notify Esther, notify DPW, notify IT also. And like I said, you get a notice you don't need, so what?
Yeah.
And on that note, I just want to say that for Peg and I, we did about 8 events last week and a half here in town. Things are happening. The town is getting more active now that it's turning into fall.
Okay, that's it, I'm done, sorry.
Why you don't be so?
Okay. That's right. We're excluding you by putting it in my bag too.
No.
All right. Well, I think if we all kind of agree on a playbook kind of thing, that could be something that we just check in on every once in a while and see if it's getting. I don't want to push you guys and be get it done now, but that could be something that we can at least bring up every once in a while and say, hey, what's the status on this? And just see if you need any help, even editing it or putting it together as a full document.
I hear what you're saying, but these things really need to be developed for each event.
Do you think each and every event, you can't just say
You could, but but then you would be doing things like, oh yeah, we're gonna need to add this, and we're gonna need to add that. So it's just easy to sit down and do it every time. Yeah, so,
Which takes us back to a checklist kind of idea. Right?
well, the checklist of notifying, we have to notify, great. But when you're talking about what's happening in the room, every meeting is different. We're gonna do PowerPoint, we're not gonna do PowerPoint. You know, I want a microphone out here in the middle for the audience, make it wireless so I can hand it around. These things change at every meeting, so it's just easier to sit down for 30 minutes,
Also,
draw the diagram, hand it out to the appropriate people and go from there. You just need a 3 or 4 day lead time, that's all.
yeah, also to that point, hybrid meetings where things become like 10,000 times harder. So on
So
varied amounts of meeting stuff.
Esther and Lou, so I hear what you guys are saying. It does seem though like a checklist for getting the communications out. There could be some abstraction of what you would go through 3 to 4 days. Like, what's the things that you would ask people to need a microphone in the audience? If you wrote that down, I think even that would be a good start for people to realize, oh, we got to ask somebody for help here.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to be able to put it together.
So, I mean, you know, Kurt goes up at 8 o'clock, so you just start working back from 8 o'clock. And what needs to happen? And I would be happy to do
If
that.
you, yeah.
I mean, along your line, I've done many conferences, and that's what you walk in the door and you say, okay, you want a wireless mic? You know, no, it's not a pre-established setup, but you just have a list of these are your needs and wants, and you can figure it out. And I think another important part too, I'm not seeing it happen as often, but where they would hold major meetings in the select board room, which quickly overwhelmed that room, you know. And remember when 2 years ago, we started bumping them, trying to get them to go to the auditorium, you know, because it just doesn't work in there. So that could be another part of it too, is if you're going to have a meeting where you expect large attendance, you know, if it's a controversial thing or something like that, then move it to the auditorium. Don't be holding it in the select board room. Yeah, that's what.
So are you in the right room for that meeting?
Right.
It's like way at the top of the list
Yeah.
before you even get down to, I need microphones, I need PowerPoint, I need
Right.
tables, I need
Yeah,
all this
right.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'll add, Abby and Melissa tend to be, most times they're pretty good about letting me know stuff. It's more like it doesn't even get to them.
All right then. Well, anything else to be said about meetings or about BCTV?
Nope.
Okay. In that case, let's move on to the communication manager update. Kate is not here, but she sent me a lengthy bit of stuff to just read quick, so please bear with me. Okay, website outage earlier this week, and I could send this to you so you don't have to type all of it.
You want to just give us the highlights and send it around to everybody?
Oh man, I did not read it before this because I figured I would just read it. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Earlier this week, our website wasn't working as it should have. The page was taking too long to load, which caused it to crash, affecting both external and internal users. I was able to log into the internal tools for several days, or was unable. Yeah, okay. With everything behind, I'm still playing catch up. Today, Thursday, is the first day this week. The internal tools have been working properly for me. I was able to get in yesterday, but it was slow, and I was worried it would crash at any moment. Late yesterday, CP made adjustments, CP Plus, I assume, after initially blaming our IT department earlier in the week, which seemed to have resolved the issue. So it looks like it was on Civic Plus. Economic development, 2 major initiatives happening this week. On Monday, I created and presented a PowerPoint at the first quad board meeting on economic development, bringing together the select board, planning board, EDIC, and the CEC. We just talked about it all. I have to-dos from that meeting that I haven't been able to tackle yet due to the website issues. The group is also forming a work group with 2 members from each committee, and the full group will meet again in a couple of months. Next item, on Wednesday, we held the first E-team meeting. Now that Eric Weiss, Jonah's dad, is on board as the town's new economic and community planner, a new part-time 15-hour-a-week position. Also joining is April Jasic Bangs, our new cultural district manager. consultant who is using the email address previously used by Lisa Stahl and Maud. If anybody needs that history, I can do that for them. The meeting also included department heads from Rec, Senior Center, Veterans, Conservation, Library Grants, and Planning, along with Steve, Jen from the Select Board, and Angela and Jill from the CEC. Eric will run this meeting monthly going forward so departments can share information and resources and avoid duplicating efforts and systems. Both groups will play a role in the town's pursuit of cultural district designation from the Commonwealth, which would open funding sources as well as outreach and publicity opportunities. She did put in a note to catch committee up on the history of Lisa Stahl and Maud. Does anybody need that? They're just former contract members who ran the cultural district. So
That covers it for me. That's
yeah,
good.
great. Constant contact. Related to this, we may begin sharing our constant contact subscription with other departments later this year. Oh, that's gonna be a mess. I know this may raise some, but it's ours concerns, but it's part of streamlining our tools and will help keep newsletters accessible across the town. The CEC wants to start one, whether they should is a separate conversation from the communications committee to have with them. The senior center and library already have their own. I created a folder in constant contact for the weekly roundup and moved my files into it, and I suggested the same for the newsletter. Once the unfilled folder is empty, the view should be much cleaner and easier to manage across. Oh, that's unfiled. Yeah, manage across multiple channels. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have to share our space with some other teams. I don't know what other team. Perhaps just Creative Economy. I don't know why they wouldn't just send stuff to us though.
Well, they might want to put things out in a different way.
In a different format. Yeah. Okay.
Come back to that later.
We'll come back to that. Yeah. Okay, Facebook social media, spent time with April and Meta working to regain ownership of Creative Economy Facebook page, which was orphaned when Lisa removed her ownership. Excellent. I've also reviewed the social media policy reviewed back from council. I suggested to Steve that select board make some policy decisions before we revise the social media policy again. Since I expect it will need to come back to this committee, Steve and I briefly discussed one point, not allowing consultants to create social media accounts for the town. It's going to follow up in writing, so there is a paper trail. We still need to address council's other points, including their recommendation to turn off commenting on social media, which this committee has strongly opposed. That we have. On that note, Meta has discontinued the ability to globally turn off comments on all posts. Comments now have to be disabled post by post at the page level. You can only set a default audience for who's allowed to comment, public versus followers only. That's an audience filter, not an on-off switch. There is a narrower option to restrict comments to only accounts mentioned in the post, which functions as a de facto off if no one is tagged. A workaround some moderation vendors recommend, since there's no true global toggle anymore. Okay, so they're removing the don't allow comments, but you can set it to only allow people to comment if they've been mentioned in this post, and then you just don't mention anybody. We've gone over this a million times. They should just leave comments on. Other projects, the community plan matrix has seen solid progress since my last report. I'm hoping to carve out time next week for another big push. I've done more redesign work on the wayfinding signs. Last month, we recreated the vehicle size sign, 42 by 36, because Stantec's original recommendation wasn't physically feasible. Awesome. I had a full-size mock-up printed based on their design, and we're now shrinking the header and reducing the margins. Conservation will also use this template and sign size for trail markers going forward. We're hoping to spend more time on this next week too. And then next, the usual news flashes, social media updates, etc. I also updated the planning board page on the website, which still had coming soon text left over from when we ported over from the old site years ago. Cool. Two last things, very short. ADA website accessibility. Next week, I plan to interview the 3 intern applicants for the ADA work on the website. The condensed summary of what digital accessibility means was sent to all department heads last week and should have gone to all committee chairs as well. I think we just got it like yesterday or today. Can the committee confirm it was received? Like I said, I think it was yesterday or today. And in closing, if Mark were here, he'd ask whether I feel like I have enough hours And this is one report where I'd have to say absolutely not. Between all the meetings, more than what's listed above, needing to use up time off before losing it, and the website outage, I'm feeling very behind. Also, big shout out to Esther. In case she doesn't mention it herself, the quad board meeting ran without a single sound or video issue, and everyone was thrilled about that, except Ed.
Well, that's because Kate was sitting up front. She could hear everything. You know?
Yeah.
No, we weren't happy. We walked out. We're there. We walked out immediately.
Gotcha. So that was the full update. Thank you all for bearing with me on that one. You can't do any questions. I guess we can do comments if anybody has a comment on any of that stuff.
I disagree with your assessment of the quad.
Noted.
Is that outage with Civic Plus? Is that like a common theme thread? No.
I wouldn't say it's common. I would say them trying to blame us is common. I don't know. They tend to say like, "Oh, what did you do?" Right? When it's like, "Well, we did nothing." It's like,
How did you break it?
Yeah, right.
I have noticed that it's buggy. So sometimes when I go in, because once a month I go in and add the newest issues of the newsletter. And so, involves uploading a document and updating the page and stuff like that. And sometimes and I know it's not me because I know what I'm doing, but the menus won't render on the screen and things like that. And it's I just have to wait for it to find itself. And sometimes I have to come back an hour later. And I think that's Civic Plus's software. So I so rarely interact with it, it's not a big deal. But if I actually had to do, Kate does a lot of stuff on the website, I could imagine it being very, slowing you down, basically.
Yeah. So I will say on our side, we tend to put in large images that eventually get shrunk down. So we will take an image that is 10, 20 megabytes and is originally just this huge, massive, high-res image, and we will put it into a thumbnail, right? Or a news flash or something like that. I've found that multiple times. We really should be resizing these things because it's the site is going to try to load that entire large image and then render it down to the correct size, which takes a lot of compute power and slows the site down, especially on mobile or if you have a really poor internet connection. On top of that, and this is sort of us, sort of them, there's additional analytics scripts and stuff like that we're kind of side loading into the website because they don't allow us to just put in global scripts. So we have certain programs that are registering clicks throughout the site and visits and things like that, different analytics tools that we've had to load into the footer instead of into the global, the correct spot where you normally would on a website because we don't have access to those. Civic Plus doesn't give us that. I'm sure there's a higher tier paid model that, we would, but
Sure.
yes. So I'm sure to some extent it is on us for doing those things, but we're doing at least the scripting things, we're doing those because the analytics things we're doing because we don't have proper access. The image stuff, I think, is on us, and load times is on us a lot of times.
I don't know if it impacts it or not, but for example, the news flash things they have on the homepage below the calendar, there's 43 of them in there right now.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And some of them the time has passed on some of them. Town meeting warrant and stuff like that.
Right.
To me, that should be just kind of breaking news or current.
No, so then is there a policy of when something should come down?
Well, I would say that's on Kate, but Kate is also incredibly busy, right?
But I'm not, what I'm saying is, does that impact load time?
Oh, sure. And I don't think Civic Plus uses a lazy load system where it loads the stuff at the top of the page first, and then you scroll, it loads the rest, or as you're on the page for a few seconds, that it okay, now we'll load the bottom of the page. I don't believe it does that, which helps a lot for those when you have those sliding left and right carousel news flashes.
Right.
right? It will load you the first batch and maybe the next batch, but then it takes its time loading the rest so that it doesn't slow down the page.
Right.
So I don't believe Civic Plus does that, which would help. But yes, also removing like 20 of them would help a lot. Anything else for the communication manager? I'm sure she'll read the minutes.
The newsletter stuff, I figured we could just talk about in the next newsletter section.
Well, that's up next, so let's hop on that.
All right. So maybe just to start with that idea, because one thing did come up that I haven't really flagged. I mean, I replied so that the newsletter team would have seen it, but after one of the weekly roundups went out, I realized that the newsletter at belchertown.org gets any emails that people respond to that saying there's a mistake in this. So we got an email saying there was a mistake in this. It was actually about the water meeting because it said like Wednesday, but the date was right. It was Wednesday.
Right.
And so I responded. I don't actually know if the person, they didn't respond to my email. And I was able to actually respond before the event to let them know that it was actually Thursday. But I realized that I think it can be changed. If it can't, then I think that's a problem. But I think each email you can set what the reply to email is.
Yes.
And so if more committees or groups were using it, we want to make sure that it goes to the right place so that whoever's sending out the information can be responsible for that communication.
Yeah, we are the default.
Yeah.
The newsletter at. Kate should probably change those to either hers or her department or something.
Right.
And then if anybody else joins us, which it sounds like they are, they need to be aware of that and they need to change that every time as well. Otherwise, it's going to go to us. Or we change the default to maybe just Kate's office, right? And she can always send it out, which is more work for her, but that would be a thing. And
I think
we would have to change it every time.
I think probably I can look, but I think probably it's pretty easy that the template that you use to generate either the weekly roundup or the
Oh,
newsletter
that's a good idea.
can be set so that it already has whatever relevant email addresses in it. And if you're always copying from the template, hopefully it's capturing that data too. So
Good point.
I think that's how it works. So I just haven't given Kate a direct heads up on that yet, but I'll send her an email to let her know. And otherwise, I don't see an issue with other groups using the newsletter or the constant contact account. I know that, the subscription plan that we pay for covers a lot of emails to get sent out from that account. And of course, we only send usually one a month, sometimes two.
Right.
And so there's no reason not to get more for the subscription price to be able to send more through it. I think it definitely makes sense to use the same account and not create different accounts and have to pay more. As long as, again, you can streamline that it's coming from the different groups and communications are going back to the different groups.
The benefit of that too is more people will become proficient in using constant contact, which will create more backup opportunities. Just so that if somebody needs help here or there, you've got more people that can weigh in. So you're not the only one, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's good at it.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts on that in terms of groups using it, or that those are my ideas?
Yeah, I think it would work. We just have to make sure that we're friendly neighbors, right? And that hopefully they are as well. So I think the point of keeping all of yours all of our newsletters in a folder, making sure theirs are in a folder, right?
Yeah.
I think that'll work.
And then in terms of other newsletter stuff, I think probably you all saw, but we talked about it at our last meeting here, that we were preparing a special issue, all the nice things happening in September in town. That did go out. I think, it's like maybe, I can look at it right now. So it went out on Tuesday and it is 67% open, but we haven't done the reminder yet. We usually send a second one. And so I got some personal feedback or individual feedback that people were happy to see all that information there. And so no other updates on that from me. Oh, also just that it was nice to coordinate with the fair folks on that. They looked over everything that Robin had drafted to get all their information onto the newsletter. And we're happy to see it go out.
The other good thing about it too is I'm scrolling through it right now. It's nice and reasonably short versus, so I mean, I know it's more work on you, but doing them twice a month, would that help in terms of not having the big long?
There's a
I think
lot in the back end. You don't see
Okay,
it.
good. And I didn't know that, I don't want to create more work for you.
Yeah. We could talk about that, but I think there's multiple reasons why twice a month would be difficult. Like it would be a whole different sort of, yeah.
Minutes would be later. The minutes would be later.
But I do think that the changes to the form to make it so that you can only submit up to 400 words, and I think that, and all the back end stuff that you did last time, I think is really gonna help.
Right, so we are preparing now. Today was the deadline for the September issue, like the normal September issue. And last month we had piloted some automation into the way we handle all the editing and stuff. So that, we can edit manually in the Google Docs, and then we have a script running that'll send back the revisions so people can see what changed and approve it. We don't really have to draft every individual email. And so I think this month, Robin and I will use that again, and hopefully it'll go even a little bit smoother, because I built it last month, so now I'm just tweaking it. Probably be tweaking it for a while, but and I think that's it for updates. I don't know if Robin or Chris, you guys have more.
No, for mine.
Now, in my wide experience of 2 months doing this now, the submissions that I'm seeing come through this month seem to be a lot more different news than I've seen in the past. So I don't know if somehow we reached a new audience or something, but I'm seeing a lot of stuff that is not the normal.
Oh, really? Okay.
Again, I've only seen it for 2 months, so
Okay.
maybe it's just the time frame of things.
I know. Kate also, I think you guys weren't copied on this, but Kate had asked me if we had reached out to the schools since it's back to school, and I had forgotten. So Kate did reach out to like the school committee and the superintendent. And so I know the school committee submitted this month with some information.
Right.
And yeah.
That was one of the points that I made, that it was like, that we should really lean in hard to this back to school.
Yeah,
Just to
I
make sure that like.
Totally forgot about it.
That's right, and because like suddenly, like I know not everybody has kids, but now like suddenly, if you're leaving the house at anywhere between 8 and 9 o'clock or 7:30 and 9 o'clock, there's gonna be a lot of buses on your route. A lot of slow down as you drive to work. And then even at the end of the day, or after school hours, you're going to see a lot of kids walking around, like heading over the Dunkin' or crossing the streets to the soccer field and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I didn't
just something to be aware of for everybody.
Usually the town managers that will include some language. I haven't read it yet, but I assume it did. Yeah. Okay, great.
Okay, tell me,
Yeah, go ahead.
is it too late for me to submit something about Quabbin days?
No. Don't tell the public.
You have 2 hours, Phil.
Yeah.
But I have something can that I
Yeah,
can say.
that's great. Yeah.
When? October?
October 9th through 12th.
Thank you.
So we have switched over to really asking people to use the form now. So this is the first month where we're saying, use the form, don't send an email with an attachment, because
Where's the form?
the form, you can find it from belchertown.org/newsletter. I'm sure there's a link to a form number on the page. But if
That's
not,
actually a good question.
that
Cater
is-
at the link on the front end to the navigation.
Under how do I would be a good question.
I was thinking.
That's where it used to be, now it's gone. All right, I'll put that in there.
Sign up for one. Submit an event. Yeah, it needs to be under the
Okay,
submission.
submission form, got it right here.
Okay.
Yep, I shall do so. Thank you.
All right, anything else concerning the newsletter? All right, moving on to 11. I believe that's actually a Kate thing, and she's not here.
Mhm.
So I think we can skip 11. Does anybody has anything to say about it? All right, on to 12. Well, I was going to show everybody how I made all the edits from last week. I did not go to every committee and ask what they had needed, but I created up a Google Drive document, Google Sheet, where you can manipulate the scores and the necessary stuff. And I even added in an availability question, so you could say morning, afternoon, evening of your availability, and track that too. And it like so the communications committee has Thursdays evening, right, is when that matches up. So there's like an availability match. But I can't get my laptop to start, so I can't show you guys what it looks like. So I'm sorry. Maybe I'll try to take a video and send it around to everybody later on. So that's that. Unless anybody has any questions or comments to me on that. All right, AI in Belchertown government.
We actually, this is kind of a holdover from last week. We already talked about the policy rollout, MES interviews, intern update. I think there's no update on MES interviews, is there? I think they have anything to do.
I know they got some more submissions,
But we haven't.
but they haven't come back to us with anything. We have at least 2 more people. I think we're up to 10 now, which they said 10 was where they'd be very happy.
The only other thing under the AI umbrella is that I am developing a training program we talked about for town employees. For full disclosure, I wrote up an outline of what it should look like, fed it into ChatGPT, edited it, sent it to Chris and Kate, got comments back, asked ChatGPT to generate PowerPoint slides. It did. I went in, edited that, did some pretty heavy editing on it. But I think it's turning out pretty well so far on there. Question I do have, we want to use an example of do's and don'ts. And I don't know if you saw the Facebook kerfuffle that was happening over the fair poster.
Oh,
I don't want to throw them under the bus, but they kind of already got thrown under the bus.
We've been doing it every meeting. It's okay.
Is it just that it is AI generated, or is there
Yeah.
something else?
It's totally AI generated. People are pretty upset about it, on Facebook and all that stuff. And Kate actually asked me to craft a response to it. That kind of squelched. I didn't see much after that. Should I use that in the presentation as an example?
we have the library one also, right?
I mean, I don't want to throw everybody under the bus.
The
Because
fire department was the worst, but
well, I mean, this is pretty egregious. I mean, everybody can just look at this and say, and it went through, I went through all that discussion on Facebook. So it's not, people know about it.
So I guess the question would be, who would you be throwing underneath the bus personally? Do you know?
I have no idea. I
Okay,
have no clue.
so it'd just be the committee as far as you're concerned.
Well, but the guy who did the poster was in those comments, and
Right.
so, I mean,
Oh,
that would be the only qualm I have, is that he was in there and he was
it was
trying to go
identified.
back to it.
I mean, it's already a very public discussion.
Yeah.
It's out there.
It is.
So, and I think it is a good example of what not to do.
Or you could make up your own.
Well, I was thinking that too, but I think it's one that would resonate with people. And keep in mind, this is a training for town employees. It's not a public. We're not doing it publicly.
Yeah.
I will say that, I've been noticing, well, and I don't know if anybody else sees it, but it seems like every event on Facebook now has an AI generated poster
Yes.
to go with it, and it's driving me bonkers. But I did notice that Hadley today posted something about bridge work, and they had what I didn't check, I'm fairly sure it's an AI generated poster, and it had like 4 different types of bridges on it. So this bridge is going to be closed, and then there were 4 images, and they're all very different bridges. It was just like, how is that helpful in any way? But that was my thought, is that's not in any way a helpful use of AI.
Ed,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Charlotte was having to make this same call when she was making her training on what not to do. She did not do the actual town examples, but I think what might be important here is that I didn't see the comments, but you could point to the comments. This is what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm leaning, I put it this way, I would like to use it, because I think it's a good visual example of how AI can be used improperly.
Yeah.
I guess I would say if you're worried about it at all, if the man is identified who did it, talk to him and let him know you're planning on doing it. And if he screams, then you know. But if he says, "Great, thanks for letting me know,"
I mean, I could as a courtesy, but
yeah.
You could also, I mean, the tech that you took in the comments, which I thought was fantastic, was it wasn't against the policy at the time.
Right.
It would be now, but this is why, you know, it was acceptable at the time.
well, I mean, the more egregious part is not the guy who created it, it's that the committee accepted it. To me, that's the more egregious part, is that he in good faith created this, you know, the committee went ahead and blessed it. And that's where I think the bigger problem lies. Yeah.
Well, that's the example you're trying to create, isn't it? Yeah.
And, you know, I'm also cognizant of the fact that the fair committee is volunteers, just like we're volunteers, you know?
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to do the best they can with the limited amount of people they have. Stuff like that.
So to sort of aside, they didn't run the student design. They did.
They did.
So why are they running this?
Well, it's side by side.
I'm sorry.
They're sort of side by side.
Yeah, there's two. There's two
Oh,
versions.
okay.
There's two versions. As you walk
There's
out,
the
you can
official
see-
one, which is the AI one, and then there's the student version.
If you walk out, you'll see a poster as you walk out.
Oh, right, okay.
For the student one.
It used to be the other. It was only the student. Never mind.
And they're referencing the one from last year too, which I didn't even notice. I guess the college.
Oh, that was horrible.
Had 5
Yeah.
points on. I didn't-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think it's a good example. Like I said, you know, it's internal training. It won't be in the Sentinel, you know, things like that. It's already publicly out there on Facebook.
Yeah, if it's internal, I think it's, I personally think it's fine.
I would definitely. If it were I would talk to the author and just let him know I was doing it.
And maybe give a heads up to the fair committee.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, this training is going to go to committees, hopefully as well. It's not just employees. That's all I have on AI right now.
I wanna throw you into this mix.
Okay.
You're
You know what's going there.
you professionally work in AI. I think we've had conversations, you have a lot of opinions on this stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to send Andrew what you've done and get his feedback.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And any helpful tips on like training AIs and giving them the correct MD files and stuff like that to do their job. I think would help Ed as well.
Okay.
No, absolutely. That sounds good.
Anything else on AI? And Belchertown government? No. Okay. I know. Additional items for discussion. Anything?
You did spell my name wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's AY at the end.
Does everybody know that there's a
Yeah.
SOAR event on the common this Saturday? Just putting it out there.
What's happening this time?
SOAR they're having their 5K race and their visuals out on our common on Saturday. So it's just another event to be aware of.
Excellent. I will add as well, that's now that the communications plan has been approved, everything else, I think that we should start knocking some of the items off that list. And I know we all have plenty of stuff that we're doing. But I think that if we could all take a look at that list and start thinking about what people think they could take on or not, or get some ideas going, I'd love to be able to add just the plan to the agenda next week or next meeting and say, okay, what do we want to take on? And kind of vote from there and have a decision on what we're doing. That way we're sticking to the actual communication plan, and taking care of that stuff.
Does everybody notice that everyone is primary? Just,
Already voted?
Already voted.
all right.
Still need to, yeah.
A question about the plan, where does that live? Is it in our Google Drive?
That's a good question. I would have asked Kate about that. I can make sure it's on the Google Drive and I can just send a copy to everybody.
Thanks.
When it was on.
Yeah.
It should be, but I don't know where it would have gone. That would have been on Kate.
I'm not sure we got a definitive plan.
I don't see when I do a search. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll make sure that gets around to everybody and we'll see what the deal is with getting it on the site. Maybe at the very least, we can put it on our page. Yeah. Okay. Next meeting time. Wow, we're really doing it. We're getting out of here nice and early. It would be September 10th.
I won't be available. Also, the one on the 24th is the night of the fireworks. And that's a fair weekend.
Well, we can watch it all from here. No.
And then I won't be available on the 8th either, so.
So deliberate,
Pretty busy guy.
Well, next week's Friends of Quabbin, then we got the fair, then I'm going on my honeymoon, my wedding anniversary trip.
the third.
Well, you can remote in from that.
That will go over real well. So much for getting to the 41st year.
So the next one is the 10th of September?
10th of September, yep.
I can remote in, but I won't be in the building.
Okay, that's fine. So the 24th is the fireworks. That's that weekend. Why don't we just skip that one?
Yeah, probably don't want to do that, but we should be, ready to hold the meeting if necessary. Sometime in September, I think.
Late September?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessary, but I wouldn't want to say we're just not going to have a second meeting right now.
Okay. We could always meet on either the 17th or the 1st. We can figure that out.
Yeah.
Still keep it to a Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So our next meeting's on the 10th, is that right?
Correct. Then we're gonna go with that for now.
But I won't be here, so just make sure there aren't quorum issues.
You don't want to do this virtually on your,
I have another meeting at that exact same time.
okay, that's not, no.
I'm not that good. I can't.
All right.
just do it.
Well, with that, unless there's anything else, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.